Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is Wednesday, and the market, at least some of the stocks that I'm in, are doing pretty good today. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let me make sure that everything is right. Copacetic. Yeah, we're getting that right. Oh, good. Okay. It's so exciting when 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 the technical stuff kind of works, and that has not been the case in the last few weeks. I have not been good on the technical, but hopefully now it'll work very much better than it has been. So without further ado, let's get into some of the slides here, and I have some kind of interesting stuff here. Some buys that I made, and possibly a very nice spread trade on Netflix that I want to kind of show you. I don't have it all put together, but I'm going to be sending it out tonight as part of the action trade alerts, so you get to take a look at it and kind of see if it's something of interest for you. And without further ado, let's get into the slides. So basically, what's happened is it the indexes have reversed higher on Tuesday, and that's a positive sign. Because typically August are a very bad month for the stock market. I mean, they're typically not a great month for the stock market, but it looks as if maybe this is different this time. I mean, it's starting to look much better. Just kind of wanted to show you we're in a confirmed uptrend. We're still holding above 14,500 on the Nasdaq, which is really good. And that is positive. We're down a little bit on the S&P 500. We're down on the Dow Jones, but it seems like some of the big cap techs are getting some love. So especially AMD. I hope you're in AMD. I'm in AMD. I've been trying to increase my position. Perkin Elmer, one of the ones that I bought basically just a few days ago, is doing good too. I also have moved into one today, and I hope it does well. It's called Viva Systems, VEV, but very interesting. So without further ado, I want to show you the chart for Viva Systems. It's up about $3.41 today. Kind of an expensive stock at $341.46, but it is right at a buy point right now, believe it or not. This chart doesn't show it, but it's basically right at a buy point. This is viable right now. This is in a very interesting company. Almost all the pharmaceuticals that have to go through trials and everything have to go through and basically certify everything with the FDA. Well, this is the company that provides the software to do that. Basically, it's cloud-based software. It's a company, I think it's based in San Ramon or Dublin, California, can't remember. Doing very well, though, because of all this activity in the drug space. Everybody pretty much has to use their software. So looking pretty good. Viva Systems is the name of the stock, and it's very interesting. So I'm going to kind of show you very quickly kind of what I'm currently trading in. As you know, I'm a big fan of NVIDIA. We're starting to see it move a little bit higher today. The key level that it really needed to move past was about that 200 level. It's 202, so hopefully we're back moving up. The volume's a little bit light, though. I wish it was a little bit more, but the price is up about $4 a share on NVIDIA, and I do think this is one of the better stocks out there. Again, I hope it's going to continue its run after its 4-for-1 split, so we'll see. Also, a stock that I've been buying as of late, DocuSign. It's up about $5.80 today, or up almost 2%, so that's pretty good. Now, I do have this interesting stock here. I did have L Brands before, as you know, and that split off. That split into Bath and Body Works, and then also it split into Victoria's Secret, VSCO. So I have both of those stocks. Victoria's Secret is up. I'm going to see Bed Bath Works is down a little bit. I may be selling that one tomorrow. Just don't know what's going to happen. I actually won't get delivered the shares until tomorrow. That's kind of a weird thing, but I got the Victoria's Secret shares, but I didn't get the BBWI shares, the Bath and Body Works. But hopefully that will do okay. That's done pretty well. That's in the retail group. It was L Brands. They decided that they would spin off Victoria's Secret. That became a separate stock, of course, yesterday. And then the rest of the company from L Brands was BBWI, and it's mainly Bath and Body Works. I'm sure I don't know if you've seen the store. It's a really good store, and they're all over the place. Very good store. So we'll see. I may keep this one. I'm not sure. Probably going to keep Victoria's Secret for a while. We'll see how that works out. Nike, of course, it just the gift that keeps on giving. This one has just been a monster for me. It just keeps on going up. I wish I had more of it, of course. Don't we all? But this one has been tremendous. I've held it a little over 30 days. It's up about, I think it's up about 15 or 16%. I'll have to look kind of what's going on there as well. Robert Half, down a little bit today, down about $1, but I'm very confident on this one as the reopening comes along, because this is the number one help company, number one recruiter probably in the world. And so it's doing very well, very profitable company as well. Perkin Elmer, this is another one that I just really, really like. This company makes gene sequencing equipment, which is in high demand right now. It's kind of a pick and shovels play for the biotech. Almost all the biotech companies are customers of Perkin Elmer. And Perkin Elmer, again, makes those gene sequencing equipment. So it's doing very well. It's up about $2.13 today. Volume's down a little bit, but I just think this one is doing terrific. And then, of course, we come to AMD, which, we did get that on the breakout. We got it right as it pulled. The buy point on this one is about $90. It's already up to about $119 when this was taken. I have a very tight stop loss set on this one at $116. So kind of a tight stop loss there. And it might, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on there. I'm going to be adjusting stops tonight. I'm going to be adjusting my stop loss tonight, but I wanted to keep it tight in case it did pull back. But it doesn't look like it's pulling back, so that's really good as well. Another smaller chip company, ST Micro. This is an interesting company because they make automotive chips. It's a company, basically, it's an Italian company, Italian-Swiss company, but they do produce chips basically for just all kinds of automotive. That's been a shortage, so they're doing quite well, good pricing, able to do quite a bit of pricing. They're not having to give up any of their pricing. So ST Micro. And I believe that unlike NVIDIA and AMD, they actually do fabricate their chips at ST Micro. So interesting as well. Tesla's pulled back a little bit, just 22 cents, not a whole lot. Really, we're sort of in the doldrums right now. I really want to see it pull above about 720 before I get more serious about it. I have basically two full positions in this, but I don't really want to go anymore beyond. It's kind of been a little bit laggard. So we'll see how that's coming on. I have a small amount of Snap. Yesterday Snap was down, but it's reversing higher. I think Snap is going to look very good in the next few days. The chart on it is looking very, very good. I have a spread on this one as well. So I have the underlying shares and the spread. So I do think this one is doing very, very well. And of course, we talked about Victoria's Secret. Now, I did make 2 ads today. Let me talk about the ones that I got rid of. I got rid of Boston Scientific, BSX, and the reason I got rid of it was because it got stopped out. So when they're stopped out, I kind of just have to retire them. And I did replace it. I replaced it with CrowdStrike, which seems like it's making a very nice move today, up $8.66, and also about 3.4% overall. So CrowdStrike's looking pretty decent. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about Viva Systems, and that's up about $2.95. I've traded Viva before. Very, very good stock. Had some very, very good results on Viva Systems. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the questions on the on stocks here. And let's see. I'm going to switch over to my. There we go. To my window here. So let's take a look at the first question. Thank you for holding. CLH. All right. CLH, take a look at CLH, CLH. And this is Clean Harbors, not a stock that I am that familiar with, I'll be honest with you, but it definitely looks good. It's right in the buy range right now. Currently at trading at 98.89, up a lot. Don't know what provides collection, transportation, treatment, and disposal site for hazardous waste. So that's looking good. There was this long consolidation, and that's a lot of times what we're trying to do. We're trying to wait for that long consolidation, and then when it peaks its head above, that's where we want to buy. There's a buy point on this one at 96.47. So it did pull beyond that, so it's looking pretty darn good. The earnings were excellent, 127% over quarter over year. So let's take a look. Let's see if we can. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. So we just came through earnings on this one, I guess. Did we come through? Yeah, we did. We just came through earnings. The earnings were excellent, up 30%, in sales, up 129%. There it is in earnings. So boy, that's really, really good. It's not an area that I have very much familiarity with, but it's got a 100% checklist. This is an excellent stock. This is an excellent stock, Matt. I think you've really come on to something here, because this is an excellent stock. Everything is looking good. It's got a 100% checklist. It's very unusual to see a 100% checklist. It's also very unusual to see my face when my camera isn't working. Hopefully I could get that in the near future. I can fix that problem. I'm going to probably need to. I think I need to get another video card. Is what I need to get. But anyways, we'll do that hopefully soon. So that is looking very, very strong, just in every way. You know what? You could actually, it's both in the buy zone on both the monthly chart, on the weekly chart, and on the daily chart. So this is an excellent play here, and I definitely think you could increase your size if you wanted to. If you wanted to increase your size, maybe up to a full position. If you went in with a half position, it's definitely viable here. So Matt, that is super, and yeah, there you go. That's a very, very good play there, Matt. Really like that. All right, let's look at. We have a question from TikTok. It's a question about MoneyGram, MGI, and of course that is a company based right here in Dallas, which is interesting. Used to be part of Greyhound, I believe. I think that's who they were part of. Looking at this chart, we do have a buy point on a consolidation, but it's at 1186. Currently, we're trading at 962. So here's the thing on this one. We're in a slight downward trend on this one. This is a watch list stock. I think you could watch list this one, but I don't think you want to be buying this right now, just because it just is not at its best. It's just not the kind of chart that you want to do. So right now, it's a watch list, and a possible buy above about 1186. So that's kind of that's kind of where you want it. That's kind of where you want to possibly be looking at MoneyGram. Is you want to be looking at it as it moves above this as it moves above this buy point here. This is the buy point here at 1186. So we want to see it move. Currently, as you can see, it's in a downward trend. We don't like to see that, but if we get a reversal and then it moves above that 1186, that's the place to buy it. You always want to try to buy if it is moving higher. You don't want to, as they say, catch a falling knife. And right now, MoneyGram, even though it's fairly good, it's still moving lower. So it will actually pretty much sideways. So we want to make sure that it's in an upward trend before we buy it. So here's the thing I would say to the people looking on TikTok right now. I think you need to watch this stock. I would not buy it right now. It's just not at the right level. And that's so key when you're buying stocks, is to make sure that they're bought at the right level. And the best way to do that, of course, is if it moves above a buy point. And currently, unfortunately, it is a little bit shy of that. So I don't think it's a good buy right now, but it possibly is a good watch list stock waiting for it to move higher above about 1186. So that's kind of where we want to see it. All right, let's look at MU first. That's a Hans. That's a very good stock. Of course, this is Micron Technologies, and they are one of the leaders. There's three companies really that are leaders in this space, in the memory space. One of them, of course, is the largest in the world. Of course, is Samsung Industries, but of course, that's a diversified company. They're not a pure play when it comes to when it comes to memory. There's another company called Hynix. They're based in South Korea, and then there is Micron. Now, this is starting to look very, very good. Micron has moved above this trend line here. This is I drew this in before. This is a trend line, so we've moved up beyond the trend line. So Micron is starting to be able to be bought. Currently, I really kind of want to see some more strength. I want to see it move above about 85 before I would be interested in it. But the relative strength line is pointed up. That is a very good sign. We're starting to see some pickup in volume, so that's excellent as well. It has a decent checklist, 67%. This is my minimum for a checklist. So as an early buy, we might be able to buy this on an early buy. Now, there are some areas of concern for me. One of them is the sector that it's in. Currently, it's in the data storage sector, and that is in the bottom half of the stock market. Currently, we have 197 different sectors of the stock market, and unfortunately, I typically like to buy as they're in the top 20%. So I typically like to buy only from the from the top sector down to approximately 50. That's really where I want to be, because that's where the money is moving in the market. So right now, I couldn't recommend Micron, but let's see if it gets a little bit more strength, moves above about 85, then I think you could possibly start coming into it. You could put in a small position here. I would not recommend anything more than about a quarter position, but it definitely, it's definitely getting there, and I very much like the company. So it's definitely something that you could look at buying. But if you do buy at this level, be careful. Don't buy a full position. Possibly consider a half or maybe even a quarter position. And what I'm talking about in terms of position is, let's say you have a portfolio, it's worth $8,000. You divide that by 8, that gives you 8 full positions. That's kind of what I'm talking about. We don't want to ever go in with more than one full position at a time, and that's very strong. Typically, we want to go in with a quarter to start, half or a half, and then come in with a full position. But right now, with Micron, I think you could possibly nibble at it, but I wouldn't buy any more than a quarter position at this point, just because I just think it's a little bit weak, but it's getting stronger, and it needs to reverse higher. Currently, the stock is in a downtrend. So let's look at PayPal and take a look. PayPal did fall very, very hard. I was stopped out, as you can see by these notes. I was actually stopped out of it. I think there we go, full position, and then I had stop losses here. When it pulled below that 21-day line, I was out. As you can see by this is a mark here that I definitely this was a stop loss. It triggered, and whenever it triggers and it goes to that means that I was sold out. I was basically sold out right about there. Since then, it's fallen below the 50-day moving average. It's bounced a little bit, but I don't think we want to do anything with this. Let's see if we can get a little bit more a little bit more strength in this issue before we do anything. So I wouldn't buy this one either right now. Wait for it to move up to about this 290 level at the bottom of the buy zone, and that's where I think that you could possibly start nibbling at it. But right now, I think it's a little bit, it's a little bit challenged here. So I would not be buying PayPal until it shows some strength, until it moves above about 290. That's kind of where I would be looking to buy it. So that's kind of kind of the long and the short of it there. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at Uber and CRISPR. Let's look at Uber first. Uber has been, it's a great idea. I've used them all, I've used them quite a bit, but it just, for some reason, it just hasn't. Let's get back Uber. URBR. I think it's URBR. Is that right? No, UBR. Uber. There we go. I had it wrong there. I had it kind of wrong there. So let's take a look at Uber. And basically Uber is in, unfortunately, this downtrend. This ugly, ugly, ugly downtrend. Now, what I did here is I drew a reversal line. So right now we just can't buy it, unfortunately, and it's painful because it has so much potential. But you never probably want to look at something that's below that 200-day line. So right now, Uber has fallen below the 200-day line. Right now, Uber just is not viable at the current in the current situation. Now it's going to go through earnings. That's tonight. I don't know how that's going to go, but it has been in a its sales have been falling. So this is not what you want to see in a growth stock. You want to see, of course, rising sales. Profits are great to have. But the must-have is sales growth. Unfortunately, Uber has been pulling back. So unless they have a very, very good number tonight, I don't see it for right now. So I just think you got to be careful with Uber. Love the stock. Love the service, but I don't love the stock. Unfortunately, I just think you got to be super careful with Uber. But let's look at CRISPR, CSPR. And this, of course, is a Swiss company. And they're in the gene sequencing, gene editing business. No, I'm sorry, Casper, excuse me. I thought it was CRISPR. CRSR. Is that right? Yeah, let's look at that. CRSR. Yeah, I brought up the mattress. No, Corsair Gaming. Okay, pardon me. So let's look at Corsair. I apologize. I for some reason I read that as CRISPR, and that is not correct. So let's look at Corsair Gaming and see if there's anything there. It's funny. A lot of these stocks have, they were so hot at the beginning of the year, but I'm looking at the daily chart here. Just not something I'm interested in buying. That's the reversal line. Very spiky. I'm going to set it, but right now you just can't buy this thing. It's underneath the 200-day line, under the 50, under the 21-day, and right at the 10-day. So you just can't buy this one, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, I couldn't recommend either Uber or CRISPR. They both seem to be pulling back. It seems like a general theme right now. It seems as if the market is starting. Whereas it didn't care as much about earnings last few months, it's starting to care more about them. So the tech companies are moving, but they're typically tech companies that have very, very nice earnings. So that's kind of what's happening, unfortunately. All right. Wow, look at that. Sold BNTX at 400 today, paid 250. That is very, very good, very studly. Let's look at that. BNTX. And all right. Well, good for you, man. This is, biotech companies. If you can get good at trading biotech companies, you have a great future because biotech companies are tough to trade. There was a very nice buy point, and they bought right at the buy point, 252. That is almost a perfect. That's a picture perfect. Entry and exit. As you can see, and this is so interesting, how this sometimes works out, Nico, is that when it moved right above that buy point, and then that's where it started to take off. So the ideal place usually to buy is right about at that buy point, or just a little bit below it, and then especially if it has strength. And look at all that strength. Boy, it's got earnings in 5 days. I think you did well by selling out. By selling out here. So that is quite a run. Look at that. That is excellent. So you got in right about that. Right about there. That's excellent. So basically, you were basically, let's see, you're right about here. So you would have gotten in about July 15th or 16th, and then you wrote it up. Wow, congratulations. That is a excellent move. That is an excellent move. I think you did right to pull the ripcord though, because here's the thing: when you go up that fast, sometimes you can come down just as fast. So excellent move there. Fantastic. Let's look at ENTG for Nico. You if you're good at doing biotechs, please comment, because biotechs, this is one area that I'm a little bit weak in terms of picking good ones, is biotech, because it typically a biotech will not have any. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is on the watch. This is on the buy. This is on. Thank you. This one is on. This is excellent company. This I actually put this out for everybody in the Discord room. I put this one out today as part of the ready list. So I, the name escaped me, but this is an excellent company. It's right in the buy zone. Everything is looking very good on this one. This is definitely an area that you definitely could be in. It's got a 100% checklist. This is a super duper stock. You're absolutely right. This looks good. This could be bought right now, as you can see, just like you did with your biotech. I don't know if this will run quite as fast, but one of the nice things about this company, and I'll show you on this chart, is that we have essentially a base on base. We have this consolidation base here, and then we have this cup with handle base. Base on base is one of the best things that you can have, because typically a stock will base for a long period of time. The weak hands will get shaken out, and then as it starts to make its move, especially if it moves above the higher high, and that's right here at 124.41, and it's just right on that, it's right on the bubble. When that happens, that means it's probably going to go higher. So here's what I would recommend. We're probably too late to buy it today because it's been after hours, but you know what? This is one you might want to consider buying. Here's how I would do it. I would use a buy stop limit order. I would put my stop price at basically the higher high. That's 124.41, and then I would put my limit order at 124.51, 10 cents above that. So if this tomorrow moves through this buy point, and then it will buy at 10 cents above that buy point, and that would be an ideal buy for this. This is looking very good. It's in a great sector. If you'll notice, the electronic semiconductor equipment sector, 38 out of 197. Now, I was talking a little bit earlier about why you should try to buy in these sectors that are doing the very best. Why? Because this is where the money is flowing. So definitely the big money is flowing to this issue. You can absolutely tell that. They had excellent earnings, as you can see. Their sales are up 27% quarter over year. Their profits, and this is even more important, up 42%. This is a tech company, obviously, but look at that. We've got some beautiful cash flow there. Return on equity is 27%, and we're in a great industry. So everything looks good. Everything looks good on that one. So you could totally buy that now. It's excellent. That's a very nice looking chart. I would like to add to my Microsoft is still waiting for things to settle down. Good question. Yeah, Microsoft's, and especially if you buy, Kate, especially if you were able to buy at some of these buy points, I think you ought to be looking pretty darn good, because when you buy at these buy points and you do this, it can be a very nice thing. So don't quite know exactly, we're a little bit extended here, but here's the trick on this. The last true buy point on this was 283.19. That was back here, basically about June 10th or so. If you started to build a position there, that was excellent. Now here's what you can do. You could possibly add some more Microsoft here, depending on how many shares you have. You want to make sure that your average cost is no more than for this. You want to make sure the average cost of your shares that you have is no more than a 276 or so. So right now it's trading at 280, 86. You could definitely buy shares at 286, but you want to make sure that taken as a whole, that they're no more than 276 in terms of the average price. So you could definitely add at this point, but you want to make sure that but I wouldn't start a new position, but you can definitely add here. And that's the thing. As long as you have an average price of less than 276, you're pretty safe when it comes to this, because you're at the top of the buy zone, but you're at the buy zone. So that's very important. You don't want to buy any stock too extended. And what that means is you're going to have a proper buy point, which this has at 283.19. You only want to buy from this point up about 5%, and then you got to wait, unfortunately, until it forms another beautiful base pattern like it did here. And Microsoft really has a beautiful chart, because as you can see, it consolidated. It's consolidated. Then there was a cup with handle. So this is what they call base on base action, or neighbor base, sometimes they call this. So you want the best time to buy a stock is when it comes out of a basing pattern. That's what happened with Microsoft back in June, and I think that's when you started building your position. So very, very nice on that, Kate. It looks like you're in a very good situation. You could probably add to your position, but here's what I would do. I would make sure that my average price of shares is no more than about 276. All right, thank you. BMY, is it at breakout? How do you feel about at 72? So let's look at BMY. BMY. Bristol-Myers Squibb. Yes, it is in a buy zone. You are so right, Mark. It definitely is. It's in a buy zone right now. Is it breaking out? What do you think about 72 PC? So I'm going to look here at 72. Okay, so that would be, all right, let's look at the weekly chart, get kind of a little bit of a better view on this one. Yeah, we're absolutely right in the buy zone. Now, here's the thing about Bristol-Myers Squibb. It's got a minimum checklist, 67, and where it has issues is this relative strength against the rest of the market. But it just came through earnings, and the earnings were looking good. The sales were up 16%, and the profits were up 16%. So it's looking overall quite good. It's also in a good area. The ethical drugs area is a good part of the good part of the market to be in right now. It's currently doing pretty well, so you could definitely buy there. So, is it a breakout? Well, no, not really. It's not really a breakout, because you see, this isn't a breakout. Is when it moves decisively above the buy point. The buy point on this one, 67.96. So it's definitely in the buy zone, but it is not a breakout. It is not a breakout. So a little bit slower moving stock, good stock, but I think there may be some better merchandise out there that you might want to take a look at. All right, made bucks on ZM options today. Okay, Zoom, nice, and that's fantastic. Zoom was the pandemic special. And it looks as if, and this is interesting, so let's take a look at the chart. It looks like it might be waking up once again. It pulled, it's been pulling back here really since October. It made its high in October, but let's put a reversal line in there to kind of see if, and I think that's the kind of reversal line that you could put in there. So we definitely have started a new trend, and that trend, we've just started that new trend. So this is not a bad place possibly to get in. I don't like to buy them typically this low, though. It's right at the 200-day moving average. I typically won't buy anything below this, but reversing above the 200-day line, I could possibly be persuaded to do that. The thing about it is that it is probably starting its move higher, but we'll see. Still pretty weak in terms of in terms of that. So if it can break above this local high here of about 406, then I think we could possibly go a lot higher. It's often after hours, as you can see. and it's pretty consistent, pretty significantly off in after hours. So I just think you got to wait on this one a little bit, Mark. I think it's fantastic that you made money on the options. I really do, but I think you got to wait on this one because it looks like it's having difficulty right about this reversal line. So I kind of want to see this thing move above, really about 406 before I would be in this one, just because of the way that chart looks. All right, we have a question here from TikTok, and that is somebody's interested in Tesla, TSLA, and I do have 2 full positions in the small portfolio on this one, which is a lot because it has been, it's started to do better. It closed closed at 710. It's off a little bit after hours. Really needs to move above about 720 to be totally actionable, but it is above this local high of about 700 that we made back here in the end of June, about June 25th or so. So it does look like it's starting to move higher. I probably added at a bad location here at 725. See, I started my position correctly at 672, but then I got excited and I added here. So that's probably not the greatest add in the world. I mean, I think my average is okay, but I'm not going to be buying any more for right now. I want to see some more strength with with Tesla before we do that, because it just it's still, there's an awful lot of overhead supply on the issue, and it just needs to get a little bit higher, over about 720, I think is the number. Okay, hi Jim. Is it safe to keep my Docu in the portfolio? Well, I love DocuSign, but it sometimes it may have shaken a little bit out here. So I'm going to pull up the DocuSign chart that I have. We've been in this slow downward trend, but what's happened here, and I don't know if you can see this, I've marked this chart up a lot because of the amount of positions I've had. It looks like it's pulled right back down to the pivot, and it looks like it's going to push higher now. So that's very, very good. I was stopped out here, but I still have some of these stocks. Of course, it's moving above 301, so that's very bullish. And so I don't think that it's time necessarily to start getting out yet, but I'd be careful. And if it pulls below about 300, about 275, 295 or so, I'd consider getting out. Also, always, if you're down more than 7%, you want to also sell as well. But I still think you can. I think you can keep this one. I do think that it's looking. It's in a good business, and it's very institutional grade in terms of its. So it's the big funds are buying it. That I do know. It's 51% of the ownership of DocuSign is in some of these funds and ETFs. So it has strong support there. All right, and its earnings are basically on September 3rd. So here's the thing: if you're not up 10% on this one, sell it before earnings. But I definitely think we can keep it through earnings, right up to earnings. And then if it's 10% or more up, then you want to keep it through earnings. If not, you want to sell it. You want to sell that one. All right. Which stock would be a right buy for a long-term, taking account the dip seen? Oh, I don't. Long-term stocks are great, but if you're looking for really a long-term something that will perform well over a long period of time, I could recommend an ETF. This should be part of, if you're not trading it, you should be considering possibly doing index funds initially. And one of the ones that I absolutely recommend is the Spider, and this is the world's largest ETF. And the reason I recommend it, of course, is because it has very, very good growth. As you can see, over a long period of time, you're going to do very well with this, because basically you're buying the entire S&P 500 index, and this trades just like a stock, but instead of just having instead of having just one stock, you have an entire basket of stocks. this is really what I recommend if you're looking for long term to start building to start getting your portfolio ready. You should definitely consider having some of these, especially in areas that you don't want to touch for a while. You just don't want to actively trade them. This can be a very good alternative, and I recommend the Spider. The other one I really recommend, of course, is the QQQ, and this is the NASDAQ 100. This is a little bit more aggressive, as you can see. When the pullbacks happen on this one, they happen a little bit more. But this is also one that you could definitely do for a long term. For a long term. So the two that I would really recommend long term and not trading. You're going to make more money trading it, but that takes time and effort, of course. So I would recommend either the QQQ or the Spider. Now here's the thing. Here's the caveat. These are great to be invested in as long as we're in a confirmed uptrend. And currently we are in a confirmed uptrend, but if you subscribe to the Action Trade Alerts, I always send out when we change from a confirmed uptrend to an uptrend under pressure or a downturn. What I recommend with ETFs is that as long as we're in a confirmed uptrend, you stay in them 100%. Then if it moves, and if the direction of the market moves to uptrend under pressure, sell half of it, half in cash, half in the index funds, and then if we do get a correction, you sell all the cash and wait for it to come back to a confirmed uptrend. So that's a way that you can play the long term. Get very good results, and not have to trade it. So that's going to be a good thing. So Hans is asking about Google. I have a spread on Google right now, and it is doing. Finally, it's turned around, and I think we will see. I had to do an adjustment on it because it was coming due, so I had to do an adjustment on this. But I do think overall, long term, we're going to continue to see Alphabet move higher. Today, it's at 27. I think that we're going to see this thing move a little bit higher. It just got a little bit ahead of itself and pulled back. So nothing really earth-shattering. The earnings on this thing were tremendous. This is an interesting company because it just seems like it just has unbelievable cash flow. Of course, the sales were up 62% year over quarter. That's amazing. And then the profits, and this is what's key. And this is a giant company. The profits are up 189%. So definitely people looking for income, this is where to go because this is absolute leader. Look at that cash flow, $74 per share. This thing is returning 17% return on equity, ROI. This is amazing considering how expensive the stock is. So this is basically just printing money. I definitely think it's going to move higher. I have a spread on it. I have a bull put spread. I wouldn't short this thing at all. I think this is a bull stock. One of the great ways to play it, of course, is with a spread. That's how I do it. And I do show that, by the way, on the Action Trade Alerts. And also, if you're on the Action Trade Alerts, I'm going to try to send out some of these great spread trades. I do have a spread trade coming up, and I'm going to send that out tonight. And that is, let's see, I'm just going to read my own writing here. Oh, it's a calendar spread, and this is going to be on Netflix. So that will be available to everybody coming up here if you're on the Action Trade Alerts. And to get on the Action Trade Alerts is very, very easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. Oops. There we go. So just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. And first and last name and an email address, and I'm going to be sending out this calendar. Now, this is an options trade, so may not be appropriate for everyone, but nice little option trade. Very limited risk on this one, and very nice. And I think this is on Netflix. It's called a calendar spread, and it's a calendar call spread, and I'm going to be putting that out tonight after the show. So I think that ought to be very nice for a lot of people. Let's take a look at another question for TER. That's interesting. This is a question coming from TikTok. So TER. Let's take a look. And Teradyne, interesting stock. And I kind of wanted to put this up there. It's in a consolidation range. Can we buy it at this point? Well, it's in this consolidation range. It's basically going sideways, but there's this nice cup with handle formation. The buy point on this one is 139.28. Currently, it's selling for 127.90. So we're a little bit lower than the buy point. Here's what I'd recommend on this one. I wouldn't buy this run right now. I'd watch this one, wait a little bit, and possibly buy it as it moves above the buy point at 139.28. So that's kind of my take on Teradyne. All right, let's look at Nikola. Now, I don't know what's happened with Nikola. I think it's in my, let me see. I can't remember exactly what the symbol is. So Nikola symbol. So hopefully we'll get something over. Yeah, NKLA. That's it. Okay, NKLA. So NKLA. Let's take a look. Nikola Corporation. This is doing terrible. So hopefully you're not in this one. I just hope you're not in this one because this is looking pretty awful. I'm amazed it actually is still available because there was some fraud allegations on this, so there's some issues here. I just don't think this one's going anywhere. It's below the 200-day line. I just think you got to cut your losses at this time. Write it off. This is just a horrible, horrible, horrible chart. This is the one where the president is up on fraud charges, and it just can't get any worse. I mean, I think Didi is probably worse than this. That's the ride hail. This is the Uber, the Chinese Uber that's basically a fraudulent company. So I think this is kind of, Nikola, unfortunately, it's just one of those things. You got to be really careful when you buy some of these new issues because sometimes they're kind of fraudulent. And this one, I'm afraid, is probably in that category. So let's look at Ford, talking about automobile manufacturers. Ford has kind of, I've tried Ford a number of times. I have not been able to catch a ride on Ford. It's pulling back once again. It's in this consolidation range. It just doesn't seem to go anywhere. They had some nice earnings, up 38%, nice profits, up 137%. But there's just better merchandise out there. I just think you really, right now the problem is the automobile manufacturers group is very poor relative to the other groups in the market. 171 out of 197. So I think you want to avoid it right now. It's just not working that well. All right. Hey, Jim, thoughts on oil stocks? Well, let's take a look at the oil area. Oil has been, it has been strong. Oil has been basically very, very strong for about 3 to 4 months here now, and the price of oil has completely kind of reinflated itself. And it's interesting because that's kind of that's kind of what's been going on in the market now. But it has fallen somewhat, and the E&P group right now has been supplanted by this very interesting thing. And who would have thought of this? I mean, 3 months ago, this was not doing that well. It was the 69th group. The number one group right now in the economy where people are investing money, the big funds, is coal. Can you believe that? I've never seen that before. So I kind of want to look at it here to see, where are the top stocks in this sector? Well, they're all of them are off their all-time high, but there is this company called Consol Energy, and I want to take a look at it. This is the number one stock in that area. It's not a terrifically expensive stock. It's really not at a buy point, unfortunately. But this is the one you might want to look at. CEIX, Consol Energy. It's the largest coal company in the United States. And interestingly enough, this is an area that is doing very well. It's very, very unusual. They had great earnings. Look at that. Their earnings per share were up 117%. That's fabulous because their sales were up 77%. Their their profit was up 117%. This is an absolute cash cow. Look at that cash flow. This is unbelievable. This has a PE ratio of about 4, which is incredible because it's a $20 stock and it's returning $5.91. I don't think that's going all to the owners of the stock, but the cash flow of this is just out of the park. It's just out of the park. Now, the question is it a good stock to buy? I don't know. I'm not an expert at buying resource stocks. I'll be honest with you. I typically stick with growth stocks, and primarily I like the semiconductors, of course, as you well know, and I like some of the other ones. So but right now the coal area is the number one area right now in the market, and that's just incredible. So I don't really know what to say, but I definitely think I will do some more research. I currently don't have any oil stocks, but I do like them. This is a question about Merck. The drug companies, they're also dependent on bribing the government. Basically, MSNBC basically gets most of its money from ads from the drug companies. I don't know if you know that, but they're very invested, of course, in getting us to buy their products. Let's look at Merck. M-E-R-K, I think it is. Merck, is that right? M-E-R-K. Let's see if I got that right. No. M-E-R. No. Let's see if I can get that. Merck symbol. Yeah, let's see. M-R-K. That's why I had it wrong. It's M-R-K. I can't remember all of the symbols. I'm doing pretty good, but I can't remember all of the symbols. Let's take a look at the Merck chart. Basically, pretty flat in terms of things. Not really in a buy zone. It was almost at a buy zone. The buy zone on Merck is 78.77. We're currently below that. So, if this did reverse higher, then it might be a buy. But right now, it's a watch list. It does have a pretty good checklist, though. 78 is an excellent checklist. But here's some issues. It's the relative strength, really, that's the problem here. So you can definitely watch this one, but right now, at least in the short term, it's probably not a good buy. You want to wait until it moves above about 78.77. You want to wait for that because that is going to show more strength. So that's kind of my take on Merck. I just don't know if that is going to be, going to be the way to go. All right, we have a question also from TikTok about AMC. Of course, this is a meme stock. AMC, and I do have a markup on it. I don't think you really want to enter this stock right now. It is in a downward trend, and it looks like it's probably going to go lower. Now, if you bought it at $5 and you're in there, and I just met with somebody that had bought it at like $5, and it's like, it was $30 today, but then you really don't, then you can hold it. But if you just bought it recently, I don't think you really can. If you're down more than about 7% on anything, you really want to consider closing your position, because that's how you get into trouble, really. And this is always the problem. You think, I'm going to sell my winner because I've made so much money on it. You get excited. And then instead what you do is you hold on to your losers because you want to get back to even. So that's not a good strategy. If you're down more than about 7% on this, you want to possibly sell it and, wait for a better entry point. That's the main thing. So that's the main thing on there. All right, let's look at Etsy. That's also a great stock. It's been a terrific stock for people that have had it. This was the one I wish, and I knew about it, and guess what? I did not take advantage of this last year. I really didn't. Maybe I'll get a second chance at it because it is a terrific stock. It's been in a downward trend, but it looks like it has bounced solidly off the 200-day line. Now, here's the thing. I always talk about the 200-day line. I say, I'm not going to buy the stock because it's below the 200-day line. Well, I wouldn't buy it below the 200-day line, but as it moves above the 200-day line, sometimes that is very good. And essentially, we have a we have some evidence of that, and that is, you see this red line. This is the 50-day line. When it drops below the 200-day line, that means that is what they call the death cross, and that means the stock is probably going to pull back, and it did. But when the 50-day line moves above the 200-day line, that's called the golden cross, and that is a very good thing. So we may be in the very beginnings of a run on Etsy. So let's see if I can draw a reversal line in there. I'm going to go over to the weekly chart really to do this reversal line, because it makes, well, I guess I can't really. Where's my daily chart? Okay. So let's go back to the weekly chart. No. Oh, no, that's retail dynamics. No wonder. I was like, why is this looking so strange? ETSY. Okay. So now we're back to the right chart. Thank goodness. We go over to the daily. We kind of look to see if we can draw a reversal line to see kind of if we can catch it as it reverses higher. It definitely is above the reversal line, so that is a very good thing. Now, here's how I typically draw these reversal lines. I go from the top point here, and then I draw it through the higher kind of intermediate high, and then when that line, you have that line, you can look at it and you can say, is the issue pulling back or is it moving up? Well, it looks as if Etsy has turned the corner and is definitely moving up, so that's a very good thing. So that's a very good thing. So that's a positive mark there. Can we find, what can we find out about this? Well, 66% on the checklist. That's pretty good. I want to see how it came through earnings. It looks as if earnings were off a little bit. That's interesting. Okay. Now, I can't really tell. Okay, so here we go. So we did have a reduction in earnings. We reported earnings. So the earnings surprise. So we had a 4% earnings surprise. So that's up 6.25%. So it came through earnings well. So that's actually very good. We have a lot of funds in it. I'm liking that, and I like the fact that there's 60% of this, almost 59% is funds, and we also have this very strong cash flow. Look at that. So when the return on equity is 61%, that's pretty good. It's pretty hard to get much better than that. So that's looking pretty bullish overall. Would I buy it at these levels? Well, I just got to find a good place to buy it. You possibly could buy it off of this reversal line. I probably would wait until it moves above about 207 to buy it, and that's a little bit of room here. That's about that's about $30. I kind of want to see it move above this higher high before I would buy it. I would definitely watch this one though. It's just a tremendous stock. I probably would not buy it now. I would probably wait to see a little bit more. Question. Thank you, Brian. Where is my link to the Discord? Well, here's how you do it. To get in the Discord now, you basically what you do is you just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then that will bring you up, and I'll show you kind of how that looks, so that you can kind of see what that looks like. So you go to Dallas Trading Floor, DallasTradingFloor.com, and when that comes up, it's going to look something like this. So basically, you go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. You're then going to see it's going to look like this. So you're going to see it. You're going to see it kind of look like this, and it's going to look. There you go. So it's going to look like this. The little chart man's up there, and then of course right here you fill in for the free extra trade alerts first and last name, and then email address, and then subscribe to the free extra trade alerts. But right here, this one, there's a special Discord service. Just click on that link, and it's going to take you right over to the private Discord service. And and so subscribe, you just hit that button right like that, and you will see it come up with a with a screen kind of like that. So that's how it kind of looks to get onto the private Discord service. So go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then the second one here It's a special Discord service. By the way, if you're interested in the mug, I have a mug too. So that's a pretty cool thing as well. I'm going to be putting up a special spread trade. This is an options trade, and that's going to go in here on this tonight, but it's not up there yet, and it's also going to go up to all the people that are on the action trade alerts. And of course, you sign up for those here, so that kind of gives you kind of a look at it there for those things. So I think we're just about out of time. Oh, we are. Let's take one last question here. Thank you very much for holding on. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Okay. Oh, and we want to do this. How we're going to trade Robinhood? Very good question. You know, Robinhood, of course, came out and it just rocketed up there. These kind of IPOs are tough to buy because they many times do suffer pullbacks, but the after hours on this thing have been tremendous. So, you know, I've been proven wrong many times when it comes to this. Would I get into this at this point? Well, I probably won't, just because I didn't get in, you know, on this original one. But it's continuing to rocket up after hours. I mean, look, it's up $21 after hours. So if you do get in this one, what I would do now that we've come out of the gate is I would wait for the pullback. And I think there, you know, I don't know, but I think there probably will be a pullback. When it pulls back and then it bounces, that's where you want to start probably trying to look to get in. But right now, I just think it's really tough to get in because it definitely, you know, it's pulling up like this. It's just there's a lot of demand for it. Look at that. There's an awful lot of demand for it. It went up as far as 85. Let's see if, you know, we can get just a tad bit of pullback. So it does appear that there is some resistance at 85. So potentially you could get in this, you know, tomorrow, and you know, if it's still going up, it'll probably move up as far as 85. Then it'll pull back. So that's kind of what you know, what I have on it. So definitely, you know, don't count it out. It's just when these IPOs come out of the gate, it's really hard because there's a frenzy when they come out, and then it settles back and it settles back down. So we shall see what happens there. Well, thanks everybody for taking a look again at my little show. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, at about 2:30, 2:45, depending on when I get all my machines running, and I'll be back. But until then, just definitely check out the www Dallas Trading Floor, and just to get on our action trade alerts is free, and that's the address. And of course, if you're interested in the Discord room, I'm basically in the Discord room from market open until you know, until we come to the end, you know, till the show. So every day. And we have a lot of great traders in there, and a lot of them, you know, feeding off of each other, and have done very, very good things. So until tomorrow, unfortunately, I didn't get to everybody's questions. I wish I got to everybody's questions, but until tomorrow, happy trading, everybody, and I will see you back here, and hopefully everything is going well for you in your trading life. So see you tomorrow at 2:30 Central.